Outlier method, the zero-load protocol. You don't need to try to relax. That's old language. Trying implies effort. Effort implies resistance. Tonight we do something cleaner. We remove load. Not your life, not your responsibilities, the load. The invisible pressure your nervous system has been carrying like a backpack it forgot it was wearing. And you can keep your personality. Keep your edge, keep your standards. We're not turning you into a different person. We're stripping the static off the signal, so the real you comes through. Now, before you do anything else, notice this. Your body already knows how to go quiet. It does it every night. It does it in tiny moments you barely notice, in the space after a sigh, in the split second after you swallow, in the instant you exhale and your shoulders drop, even if only a millimeter. That's the doorway. You're not going to force it open. You're going to remember it exists. Because the entire modern world profits from you forgetting. And the moment you remember, the world gets quieter. Not outside you, inside you. That's where the leverage is. Now imagine a place. Not a cozy cabin, not a candle-lit spa, something deeper. A place designed by intelligence, not for comfort, but for stability. You are walking toward a structure that doesn't advertise itself. It doesn't beg for your attention. It doesn't flash. It doesn't sell. It simply waits. A sanctum built into stone and shadow. You step inside and the air changes. Not colder, not warmer, different, cleaner, as if the air itself has less opinion. The sound here is not silence, it's absence of demand. And your nervous system notices immediately, because demand is what keeps people sick. Demand keeps the muscles braced. Demand keeps the jaw tight. Demand keeps the mind scanning the horizon for the next problem. Here, nothing wants anything from you. And for a moment, your mind doesn't know what to do with that. Good. Let it hesitate. Let the old pattern search for instructions, and then let it discover the truth. There are no instructions, only an environment so steady that your system begins to mirror it. In the center of this place is a table, smooth, dark, ancient. And on the table is a single object, not mystical, functional, a simple instrument, a lens. You pick it up, and as you look through it, something happens that should not be possible. You can see your stress, not as a concept, as a shape. You notice where it lives, maybe in the chest, maybe in the gut, maybe in the throat, maybe behind the eyes. You see it like a field, a pressure system, a weather pattern inside your body. And here is the first upgrade. Most people try to defeat stress. They wrestle it, they lecture it, they shame it, they call it weakness. That's childish. Stress is not the enemy. Stress is an intelligent system that got stuck running old software. Tonight, you don't fight it, you update it. Because what those are actually experiencing is not stress. It's load management gone rogue, like a smoke alarm that keeps screaming when there's no fire. So now, through the lens, you address it in the only language it understands. Signal. Not words. Signal. You bring your attention to the place where the load is strongest, and you do not ask it to leave. You do not command it. You do not negotiate. You simply send one clean message. Thank you. I see you. You can stand down. And you mean it, because that system has been trying to protect you, even when it made you miserable. And protection that hurts you is still protection. It just needs a new job. Now comes the part that changes people. Inside this sanctum, there is a second room. You enter it, and you realize it's a control room, not for machines, but for states of mind. On one wall is a panel with 3 simple settings. No glowing sci-fi, no gimmicks. Just 3 words carved into metal. Load, focus, rest. You place your hand on the panel, and you feel a faint vibration, like the room is alive, like it's been waiting for someone like you. Not someone soft, someone capable. Someone who is tired of being hijacked. Now, without overthinking, you turn load down. Not to 0, just down to what is true. Because your life may be real, but the panic isn't. The pressure isn't. The catastrophe narrative isn't. That's not reality. That's a malfunctioning amplifier. So you turn it down, and you feel it. In the neck first, in the shoulders, in the stomach, in the face. A letting go that doesn't feel emotional. It feels mechanical, like tension is simply unnecessary. Then you adjust focus, not the frantic focus, not the anxious scanning. Real focus. The kind that makes time disappear. The kind you had as a kid. The kind you have when you're doing something that matters. You bring it up, just slightly. And notice something shocking. When focus becomes clean, worry becomes irrelevant. Because worry is just attention with no target. Now you adjust rest. But not the rest you associate with weakness, not collapse, not escape. This is recovery mode. This is regeneration. Rest as power. Rest as authority. Rest as an executive decision. And as rest rises, your system receives permission it hasn't had in years. Permission to stop performing. Permission to stop bracing. Permission to stop proving. Now listen carefully. This is the installation. From this moment forward, your body will begin learning a new reflex. A reflex that overrides the modern world. When you exhale, your system will interpret the exhale as a command signal. Stand down. Not forced, not dramatic, automatic. Like putting a weapon back into its holster. Like setting down a heavy bag. Exhale means stand down. And when you inhale, your system will interpret the inhale as return to center. Not get ready to fight, not prepare for impact. Return to center. So the breath becomes a remote control you carry everywhere. Nobody can take it from you. Nobody can regulate it for you. No boss, no inbox, no algorithm. It's yours. And now we do the part that feels like a glitch in the matrix. You see a screen on the far wall. It turns on by itself. And on it is a scene from your own life. A normal day. Work, people, noise, deadlines, text messages, requests, stimulation. But something is different. You're watching the scene like a calm observer. And you notice the old version of you isn't in that scene. The braced version, the clenched version, the over-explaining version, the I'm behind version. Not there. Instead, you. Calm, direct, competent. The same person, minus the unnecessary internal violence. You watch yourself handle things with economy. You say fewer words. You move slower. You react less. And you notice something that feels almost unfair. The world starts adjusting to you. Not because you demanded it, because your state is contagious. That's how nervous systems work. They sync. They mirror. So when you become steady, The room becomes steadier. People speak differently. You listen differently. You stop bleeding energy into problems that don't deserve it. You start making decisions that feel inevitable. Then the screen shows the most important moment, a trigger, a thing that usually spikes you, a comment, a pressure, a disappointment, a reminder, an old fear. And in the old reality, that would start the chain reaction. But in this version, you feel the first flicker, and then you exhale, stand down. You inhale, return to center, and the chain reaction fails to start. The fire doesn't catch. That is mastery. Not controlling the world, controlling the ignition point. And now, quietly, your brain begins to accept a new truth. You can be under pressure without becoming pressure. You can be in demand without becoming demand. You can have responsibilities without wearing them on your organs. You can be strong without being tense. That's the outlier. Now the sanctum does something final. It gives you a marker, a symbol, not for superstition, for memory. You choose a single physical anchor you can use tomorrow. Simple. A touch of thumb to fingertip, a hand on your chest, a slow blink, one small signal. And it means only one thing: zero load. So tomorrow, when you're walking into noise, you trigger it, and your system recognizes the command. It doesn't argue, because you trained it here. And now, one more thing. A line that lands in the unconscious like a weight. You do not need to suffer to prove you are serious. You do not need to be exhausted to be valuable. You do not need to carry chaos to be powerful. You can do your work from a clean nervous system. And you will. Because once your system experiences this, it wants it again. Not as escape, as baseline. Now you can let the scene fade. The sanctum remains. It's always there. And when you wake up, you won't remember every word. You don't need to. Your nervous system remembers states. It remembers environments. It remembers signals. So when you open your eyes later, you may feel something unfamiliar. Space. A little more space than usual. And inside that space, choice. And if you want to test it, exhale, stand down, inhale, return to center. That's it. That's the protocol. And you can rest now.